Hey ambitious professionals, it's Linda Rayner of lindarayner.com, career strategist and intuitive purpose coach. I help driven professionals like you to enhance your personal brand so that you can pursue a career you'll truly enjoy. And in today's video, I really wanted to share with you something that's a little bit different in a bit of a different format. So I wanted to talk about 3 lessons that I've learned within myself that have helped me to get to where I'm at when it comes to my career. And I think that this will really benefit a lot of you out there who are on your job search, actively looking for a new position, and who may be feeling a little low and not great about how things have been coming along. And I really want to share with you that there are ways to break out of that, to stay positive, to increase the momentum within your job search, but you just have to recognize a few things. And so the nuggets of wisdom that I want to share with you come from this book here, Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. If you haven't read it already, I highly recommend that you do, especially if you're not feeling the greatest, and wondering, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling so stuck? This will really help you to break out of that and recognize what's creating that. I actually picked up this book about a year or two after I had discovered Eckhart. And the way I discovered Eckhart was probably the same way that you probably discovered me, which was through YouTube. I had Googled, I don't know what I Googled, but I Googled something and I found Eckhart. And I started listening to his teachings, and of course I got into reading his books, and this by far has been my favorite. And there's a whole series, actually Oprah has done a whole series on this book with him on her Super Soul Sessions or Super Soul Sunday or something like that on YouTube. You just have to Google it. But anyways, the whole reason why I'm bringing this up is because I found out about Eckhart back during a time when I myself was going through a state of inner turmoil and discontentment with my career. Back then, I was still working in a corporate job. I wasn't married yet. I was still living at home. So, I was in a completely different life situation. But at the same time, I was looking for more. I was looking for what is going on with me and how can I get to where it is that I really want to go? What is holding me back? I was asking a lot of really deep questions, and I still do. And so that's when I discovered Eckhart. And so today I want to share with you the 3 lessons that, to be honest, there's a lot more lessons that I've learned from within this book, and I think I'm going to actually end up sharing a lot more over time. But just today, 3 little nuggets of wisdom that have come from this book that hopefully will help you. And you want to know, how can you stay positive while you're going through this? So hopefully these little nuggets of wisdom will help you. So the first lesson that I wanted to share that I've learned is recognize that who you are is not based on the title of the job you held. So this definitely rings true for me back in the past when I used to feel like I really identified with the work that I did. And I still do, but at the same time, you're not necessarily the title of the job that you've held. Meaning for you, for example, if you were once a VP or a director or CEO of some organization, and now you find yourself unemployed looking for that next opportunity, and you're starting to feel this sense of uncertainty, the sense of, I don't know who I am, that's where you really have to really embrace the idea that who you are is not the job title that you once held. And Eckhart says this really well. He says, the ego's sense of self-worth is in most cases bound up with the worth you have in the eyes of others. You need others to give you a sense of self. And if you live in a culture that to a large extent equates self-worth with how much and what you have, if you cannot look through this collective delusion, you will be condemned to chasing after things for the rest of your life in the vain hope of finding your worth and completion in your sense of self there. That's really what he's talking about, is that you get wrapped up into this egoic thinking that you are the job that you're meant to be holding or that you've already held, and you get into this state of discontentment and this state of suffering because you feel that you are worth nothing if you don't have a job. And what I really want to express to you that I've learned is that who you are is much more than the job title that you're able to hold. And truthfully, if you keep holding on to this idea that a job is what's going to make you feel valuable, that's actually creating a block from getting you that job. I know it sounds so counterintuitive. The fact that you're gripping onto that vision so hard and that desire so strong, and that, you're putting so much of that pressure on yourself and that feeling of unhappiness because you don't have it, is actually what's blocking you from getting there. Because the opposite, where you could feel, instead I will let it flow, I will know that that is coming to me, and that I am not truly that job title. I'm much more than that. And I know that any organization that ends up hiring me is going to be able to see me for who I really am, because I'm able to stand in my own truth and be able to show that to them when I get there in that room, in that interview room. Instead of coming from this place of desperation that, oh my God, I need this job. And because if I don't have this job, I'm not worth anything. Instead of having that thought, you have this more relaxed, easy, free-flowing idea and knowing that you are much more than just a job, any job. If you really allow yourself to embrace that, that will give you comfort in moving along this job search. So the second lesson that comes from Eckhart's book is actually a quote from William Shakespeare that he quoted, where he said, "There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." So if you really think about that quote, there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. It means that the way we perceive a certain situation or someone or something is what determines whether it's good or bad. It's purely based on the power of our own thoughts and our own judgment. And in the chapter, Eckhart goes on to say, whenever you are in a negative state, there is something in you that wants the negativity, that perceives it as pleasurable, or that believes it will get you what you want. Otherwise, who would want to hang on to negativity, making themselves and others miserable and create disease in the body? So if you really ask yourself, am I worrying about the fact that I don't have a job? Am I stressing myself out because subconsciously I think that that's productive? If that's how you're thinking, then all it takes is awareness to know that it's actually not productive. And the reason why I know that it's not productive is because that has an energetic impact on your reality, on your situation. So if I backtrack a little bit and I explain this, I honestly believe that it's our birth-given right that we are able to create our reality. And the way we create our reality is through our thoughts, through our beliefs, and what we tell ourselves. And if we're telling ourselves negative things, if we're telling ourselves that it's impossible that we'll be able to find a job, or that we're too old, or that somebody else took our job away from us and now there's no way that we'll be able to find something because we're outdated, or whatever, I don't know, whatever you might be telling yourself. Okay, anything along those lines. What is happening is that you're marinating in this timeline, in this situation of not having what you want. You're marinating in this negativity. Instead, you could recognize that this is what's happening, that you subconsciously believe that if you worry about the fact that you don't have a job, meaning if you really tell yourself, if I want to shift the state that I'm in, if I want to shift my circumstances, my reality into another state, then I need to break through this barrier that I've created for myself. I need to break through this negativity. So what I'm trying to say here is this, is that we really genuinely do have the ability to create our reality. And that's just simply by the choices that we tell ourselves, the choices that we make. And being willing to be aware that you're doing this to yourself, that's all it takes. Just have the awareness that maybe I haven't been telling myself the nicest things. And maybe I need to shift the beliefs that I have about this whole thing. And once you can shift those beliefs, that's when opportunities will open up for you. That's when synchronicities will happen. That's when creative ideas will happen. And where it is that you really want to go is you're going to be led to that. You're going to be guided to that. I know that from firsthand experience, because that's how I've come to where I am currently, and where I know I'll be going is purely by relying on my own internal guidance. So instead of listening to the ego's thoughts, the negative voice's thoughts, listen to your own voice. Listen to that inner clear guidance that's within you that is trying to nudge at you every single moment of every single day, but you keep suppressing it, because the more you're aware, the more you can step out of it and say, wow, that's not my voice. That's not who I am. And then you can make the choice to move in that positive direction. And finally, the third lesson that I want to share with you that comes from this book is the source of all abundance is not outside of you. It is part of who you are. So for some of you, abundance simply just means any form of financial compensation, meaning the form of a job that pays you fairly, that gives you good benefits and in line with your experience and your skills and your abilities. That's considered abundance at this point for you. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, because what I know to be true is that a lot of people think that abundance is based on an external situation, an external circumstance. So in your case, it might be that you think, I'll be abundant when I can actually land a job. That's the only time when I'll feel abundant. But what Eckhart is trying to say is that abundance starts with you feeling abundant first, then you get more of it in return for acknowledging the abundance that you already have. Okay, so for example, in the book he says, the acknowledgement of abundance that is all around you awakens the dormant abundance from within. When you smile at a stranger, there is already a minute outflow of energy. You become a giver. Ask yourself often, what can I give here? How can I be of service to this person, this situation? You don't need to own anything to feel abundant, which means you don't need to have a job yet to feel abundant. Although if you feel abundant consistently, things will almost certainly come to you. Abundance comes only to those who already have it. It sounds almost unfair, but of course it isn't. It's a universal law. Both abundance and scarcity are inner states that manifest as your reality. Jesus puts it like this, for to the one who has, more will be given, and from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. So I think that sums it up very clearly. If you're feeling that you're in this state of lack, that you just don't have what you want, you don't have a job, you don't have money, you don't have this sense of self-worth, you don't have self-confidence, well, you're just going to continue to get more of what you feel you don't have, because that's what you're focusing on. But if you can really look at the world around you, and I'm telling you this because I know you have the time to do it, especially if you're not working at the moment, you have the opportunity to really acknowledge the abundance that already is within your life, that is all around you, even if it's just taking in the breeze that's outside or the sunlight on your skin. Starting to recognize little hints of abundance from that perspective is actually what's going to generate this positive energy, and it's going to shift you out from this negative turmoil that you're at, in this negative state that you're at, and shift you out of that and into one where, like he said, abundance comes to those who already have it. Things will almost certainly come to you. So if you want those opportunities, if you want that new job to come along, well, you have to first of all feel that you are deserving of it, because that, you are already abundant. It naturally, of course, belongs to you. It's not something that you can't get because you don't have it. It's that it naturally is going to come to you because it's attracted to the fact that you are already deserving of it. If that makes any sense, I really hope that makes sense. And one final thing that I wanted to mention was this concept of momentum. Okay, so when it comes to our energy states, the energy that we are sort of holding onto, that determines the speed and the momentum that we have, the ability that we have to manifest whatever it is that we want. And if what you tell yourself are things that are of lower energy, then what happens is the momentum to getting to where you want. If you tell yourself, I'm probably not good enough for that job, or I'll never find a job again, very slow moving energy, low, thick energy, that's the energy that you're carrying with you, and that's what you walk into an interview room with. So if you're walking to an interview room with this negative, heavy, low level energy, well, it's not a surprise that you didn't really get further on in the interview process, move further along, because people, we every single one of us, we have the ability to sense somebody else's energy, whether we know it or not. A lot of people think that it's just based on appearance. It's beyond that. You can look at someone, but if you sit in front of them and you are in the same room and you're breathing the same air as they are, you feel something, from that person, that comes off that person, that you can't ever describe. It's hard for you to be able to, but you just get this feeling from them. And it's either that they are in a low vibrational state, or they're in the middle, or they're a high vibrational state. You can feel that off someone. So you really have to be really cognizant of this idea of energy and the momentum that you're creating for yourself. Because if you are doing all the things that I just mentioned, all these lessons, and really understanding them and embracing them, what's going to happen is you're going to shift out of this more lower energy state, and you're going to shift into this state of being lighter, a little bit more positive, a little bit more open, and that creates opportunities, that creates greater momentum, greater speed to getting you to where you want to go. And so what happens is you walk into an interview room, if you are a little bit lighter and you're a little bit more open and more positive, the other person on the other side, do you not think that they can feel that? Of course they can. They will totally pick up on that. And when they pick up on that, that helps them to decide whether they want this energy in this organization, in this company, they want to work with this person or not. And it does help them to make the decision of whether you'll move along. So, a lot of people think that it's all about, having the connections and having the skills or whatever, but it also has a lot to do with your energy. And guess what? You can control that. You may not be able to control all the connections that you have at a very, in an instant, but you can control the energy that you're carrying in an instant. And that comes from awareness. So I really hope that that was helpful to you. If you are on your job search, still looking, and it's been a while and you're still not finding the luck that you want, feel free to reach out to me if you are looking to seek additional help. You can head on over to lindarainer.com, click under Work With Me, Personal Brand Renewal to Stand Out, Get Hired, fill out the application form, and from there, if I feel that we're a match, we can discuss further and see how I can help you. If you like the video, then please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share it with your friends, let them know that this channel is all about helping driven professionals like you to enhance your personal brand so that you can pursue a career you'll truly enjoy. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.